Alright everybody, what's going on? 5869 here with another replay analysis. This time we're going to be going over JDog. He's going to be playing the Wraith King here. He did submit the game, doesn't have an MMR, but he says, we ended up losing the game. I have the highest XPM, the second highest GPM. What could I have done to do better in this game? He says, like, should I have bought a Battle Fury and a Blink Dagger to pretend I'm anti-mage? Should I have gotten an MKB? Stuff like that. So we will go over it right now. We'll start with what he's got right now. So early game items, not bad, not bad. If we take a look at the lanes, how they're going to go over, we're not really 100% sure what the lanes are going to be. We can probably assume strongly, though, that it's going to be a Broodmother off lane. In which case, these items aren't that bad. Stout Shield, pretty good for dealing with the Spiderlings. Quelling Blade, not the worst. Wraith King's got a pretty high base damage, so Quelling Blade's kind of nice here. Really help him contest the CS against this Brood, so that'll be a lot of fun here. Tango's not too bad, should be alright, shouldn't need too much regen, could probably bring some more out if he needs it. And a Branch, I do like that, just get a little bit more stats on Wraith King, especially since he has a fairly low agility and intelligence there. Just the one stat early on actually gives you a lot more than a lot of people really expect. So it is a nice pickup for him there. It looks like he's going to be going into the straight magic wand first. Probably should be looking for the boots, but we'll kind of take a look at that, see how everything goes in his lane here. I'm not really going to go over CSing, saying, oh, you missed that last hit, you need to work on CSing. That's just kind of a general, mechanical thing that people will get better at. You can certainly, go in a lobby and practice your CSing or really consciously try to work on your CSing, but it's not that big of a deal. The one thing I will say, though, is that just to help with CSing, early on, Wraith King doesn't really need his crit. The only thing it does is kind of make CSing more annoying, trying to time your last hits, or if you hit it earlier on to try and push the lane, you might push it too much by doing a crit. So I think it's all right to hold level ups, right? You don't always have to spend the level up right when you get it, especially in this lane. It's not really a big deal to just hold on to it, maybe put it in stats here. Stats are really good on Wraith King. Maybe 1 or 2 points in Vampiric Aura to help you jungle early on. The crit, I don't really care for it too much, though, early on. You don't really have the damage to make it that useful. You're kind of banking on a 15% chance. I think it's better to go maybe stats stun, 1 or 2 into Vampiric, and then at 6 just go straight for Reincarnate. But no big deal there. Just something that'll make it a little bit easier. Picks up a TP. Probably won't need a TP this early on. As the one position carry, which is what you're playing, you don't really need to TP out early on. You shouldn't really need to TP out to another lane for those 6 saves, anything like that. Sure, it's fantastic if you can do it, but realistically, somebody else should be TPing. The Bounty, the Nyx, somebody should have a TP. One of those heroes, the supports, should have the TPs to go for the reactions there. It shouldn't be you. So I'd skip out on the TP. You've got the magic wand, that's nice. Not too bad. The Brood's probably going to be spamming her Q quite a bit here. So you'll definitely get some charges. Right after that, I'd say for sure go for the boots. Brood looking for Techie's mines. Not going to find any. Looks like she's going back to CS here. Meanwhile, looks like you guys are going to gank. All right. So a little bit weird. Not really sure. Not really sure what's happening right now. I don't know if you guys are trying to do something here. If you're in TeamSpeak together, or he's talking to you, he wants to do something. But again, as the 1 position carry, you really don't want to rotate out of the lane, right? You were saying you had the second highest GPM. If you're in lane right now, you're missing out on a couple hundred gold for sure, right? Oh, okay, you're checking for the Necro in the woods. Yeah, he is AFK. Okay. All right, I see that. I see what's happening. Okay. So good on you. Good on you. That makes sense. Now, you probably didn't have to go. The Bounty could have just gone. Realistically, if the Bounty goes and the Necro is doing it, and the Bounty just, kind of hangs around him, and I guess you probably can't without getting hit by a Heartstopper, though. But either way, still not a big deal for you to go. The Bounty would probably be enough to scare him out. You really need to work on the early GPM. Early gold in this game is the most important. By far the most important, just because the early game is exceptionally important. Probably the most important part of any Dota game is the early game, and the gold in the early game means a lot more than gold in the late game. That sounds kind of stupid and kind of hard to explain, but the little amounts of gold you'll get in the early game to buy these earlier items and stuff like that mean a lot more than the gold you'll be getting in the late game. It's great to farm all game, but it's really important to get these early items, like to get your boots. Like you should probably have boots by now. Probably almost full treads if you were in the lane the whole time. You could have most likely. Another reason why I don't like Vampiric Aura is that now this lane's really going to be pushing towards Brood's tower a lot. Your creeps are going to be getting that lifesteal going, and that's kind of annoying, right? It's really good for this Brood, but the Brood's not on your team, right? So you really don't want that. You want the creep wave to be somewhere over here where her webs are like just barely out of, so that bounty can like place a ward and you could probably kill her really easily. Now it's under tower, and it's really easy for this Brood to get XP, and really that's all Brood needs is like her levels, and from her levels she'll end up getting her farm, right? She'll take over your jungle, stuff like that. So even though you get your Vampiric Aura most likely to jungle, which you can't really do when it's stacked, but even though you do get it to jungle, it's not really that worth it. I think the skill build, 2 into Mortal Strike, definitely never want to be doing that. Max the stun, probably a few points into stats, but max the stun, a few points into stats, and then, you know, obviously take Reincarnation at level 6 because it's a fantastic ability. Sentry does get thrown down. There's like a million spiders around you. Shuriken Toss isn't going to do much anyways. These spiders are just having a field day with you. Alright, so we'll start speeding through this. I think I've said, you know, quite a good amount for your early laning. So working on the CSing, not really roaming around too much. Gonna get a nice kill there. That's solid. Work on your skill builds as well. 3 into Mortal Strike is definitely not where you want to be right now. Like, you really want the stun, especially against the Brood. The stun's really important. I don't think it changes the duration, but the damage is nice. Yeah, the damage is definitely going to be good for catching out the Brood, so probably going to want that. These spiders are going to get really annoying now. Brood's really just sacking them, which is good, right? Like, the Brood's giving you so much right now. You're going to live. That's fantastic. You should probably be getting out, even though you're almost level 6. It's not worth it to just waste the first cooldown of your ult for no reason here. Looks like stuff's still going down. Not going to get a deny. And, I mean, Brood doing Brood things, right? That's kind of expected. You're going to go down, but you should get 2 kills out of it. Or maybe just the one. I thought Bounty had a Sentry. Alright, so, yeah, he did, but placed it really late. Whatever. Team's rotating down. Looks like you guys are ready to take the tower. Doing a good job. Not too bad here. There's a lot of you guys farming here. The techie should probably be more mobile. And creating more space for you, stuff like that. But that's no big deal. Bloodseeker on the map doing Bloodseeker things. The hardest thing for you this game to deal with most likely is going to be this Bloodseeker, in all honesty. Just because Wraith King is very reliant on not getting kited, right? Like, he doesn't really have... His abilities, if you look at them, are meant to just sit and hit people, right? Like, he's got a crit. He's got a lifesteal. The stun is what's meant to kind of lock them down so he can hit them. However, a lifestealer is going to be rupturing you, most likely. Going to make it really hard for you to, you know, deal with any of that. You can't really jump around in the team fights like you normally would. So you really have to be aware of that. Maybe try to get the initiation on him. Just watching, just watching. Alright, getting more CS, not too bad. Rotating mid lane. Using your time well. You haven't really been standing around doing nothing. You know, aside from just kind of wasting it a little bit on early game. Alright, going into the jungle. Pretty good, pretty good. You should be moving to bot lane though. And not mid lane. So it looks like you're about to move to mid lane. Maybe I'll wait for it to actually happen. Yeah, it looks like it is. So this is a huge problem. Like a huge problem in, not in your play right now, but at this level, like in general, this is a massive problem. Is that people, they do the 2K stare down or whatever you may be. It even happens at 4K. I still call it the 2K stare down. It's when teams are unsure of where they should be, so they just group up where the most heroes are, right? Like, there's 4 heroes on each team in this mid lane, ready to, like, defend a tower or hit a tower, whatever. And it's kind of stupid, right? Like, you've got a TP for a reason. You should probably be bot lane getting this CS. That's 4, 8, 12, 16. That's about 300, 400 gold almost coming in with those 2 creep waves that you could be getting, right? So you want to know how to maximize your GPM. That's how. You don't want to be waiting for the fight to happen. You want to be in a lane, pushing the lane out, you know, farming up, you know, pressuring the enemy team by being in another lane. You know, the lane's going to push out, pressure this tower later on. And then if you need to fight, you still got a tower. Just TP to the tower. You shouldn't be late. Just pay attention. You know, tell your team, guys, if you need me to TP, I will. But that's a huge issue, right? Is that you guys are all just kind of dancing around here. Especially because they have a better team fight, in my opinion. Although there's so many tracks right now that it's like, if you guys get kills here, it's absolutely sick. But you probably won't be able to, because Dota is a hard game. Alright, yeah, so see, you ended up losing that team fight. But more importantly, you guys ended up losing a lot of map control here. You're gonna lose this tower anyways, and you spent like 5 heroes here just to help secure this tower. Actually, you're not gonna lose this tower. I have no idea what's happening right now. But still, where did you so you TP in mid again, and now you're on the prowl looking for ganks again. You guys look like you want to pressure the tower. It's almost dead. That's cool, I guess. That's alright. But again, everybody's just farming up in the same place. You know, if you respawn and just walk bottom, you'll be here in time to get these creeps and start pushing out, farming a little bit more. Or even if you don't want to walk bottom, just walk to the jungle, right? Like, it's still getting you more than sharing the farm and the EXP with 3 other heroes, right? And levels are very important on Wraith King as well. Like, his ult, his cooldown gets reduced by 100 seconds each level. 100 seconds. Like, that's absolutely disgusting. You need your level 16, like, as fast as possible. And that's very important on Wraith King. And you need to recognize this, right? Like, you need to know, if you want to be a better player, you need to look at your abilities and say, wow, you know what? My ult scales exceptionally well as, you know, I get higher and higher in levels. So I should be, you know, prioritizing levels, prioritizing not sitting around and sharing EXP between everybody. You're kind of running away from this fight you ran. You probably should have just stayed and fought with your team, it looks like, because so you go in, you got your armlet, you're getting a little scared here because you're low, but you've got your ulti up, right? Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't fight. Just look at the damage your team does to you. That Techie's mine is huge. You could have stunned this guy, probably killed him. You could have stunned this guy back here, probably killed him with your team, but instead everybody's kind of running separately. Nobody really knows what's going on. So just being aware of the team fighting. Obviously, if you would have died, the movement slow would have been huge in helping your team as well. But, you know, just remember that. Team fight positioning and, you know, understanding where you should and shouldn't be. Especially as a Wraith King, it's fine to be aggressive. Again, everybody's farming up middle. Like, why? There's no reason that everybody should be farming up middle. You're going to do Ancients. That's nice. Not bad. Finally doing something else. But you guys have been middle for a majority of the game. Looks like you're ready to push up the tower. Good. You get the tower. Go for the DD rune. Another thing that's kind of important for you guys to recognize here is that you have a fantastic team for doing Roche. You've got 2 heroes that are really good at being out on the map and giving you vision with the Nyx and the Bounty Hunter. And 2 heroes that can probably do Roche together, right? Like, TA's fantastic. She's only got 1 point in a meld, which kind of sucks because there's only 2 armor reduction. I guess I don't know. She's only level 10. That's whatever. Probably didn't need 4 points in the Side Blades. I think 2 points was probably sufficient. Maybe she wanted the 4 for the spiders. But either way, you've got the lifesteal. You've got Mortal Strike. Like, you 2 can probably do Roshan together. She's got refractions to soak some of the damage. She's got lifesteal from you as well. So something that you should be aware of as well is that Wraith King, along with another hero like TA, is good at taking Roche. Or like if Slardar was on your team, he's fantastic at taking Roche as well, right? Roshan's pretty weak if you've got any type of armor reduction. Like right now, he's only got 6 armor. Even that 2 reduction is going to be pretty huge, right? So something that you should be aware of as well, keeping in mind, what are your heroes good at? Where do your heroes peak? What time of the game do they peak? Stuff like that. And something that you certainly could have probably done a little bit better this game here. And it's with any hero, right? Like, it's not just with Wraith King. It is with any hero there. You get a Blink. I think Blink Wraith King is, like, fantastic. initiating, counter initiating, all the fun stuff, whatever, chasing. This guy, I don't even know what's happening right now. You're doing a fantastic job. You do end up going down, but you got the blink. Oh no, Slardar is actually a super scary hero, and you go down. So, kind of hard to say about that kill. If we return or go back, there's a few things that you can see that probably should have prompted you not to chase right here, and that's where you're gonna need to work on map awareness. Map awareness is one of the biggest things in Dota that I find a lot of people really need to work on. The first thing is that he's got a mechanism as well as his heal, so he's gonna be a hard kill. Even though he looks low, he's probably just gonna heal up and laugh straight to the bank. There it is. He's at 500 HP again. So if we take a look at the map here, we notice a couple things. One, there's a Broodmother mid alone. If they're going to be pushing this tower with more than the Brood, you're going to see them hands down, right? Like, if the Slardar's there, you're going to see him. Two, your TA's bot, she's pushing the lane. There's no Slardar in sight yet, so you know he's somewhere on the map around you. And I guess you're probably not really thinking about how strong he is, but Wraith King's armor is pretty subpar. And when he ults you, especially with that level 11 he just got, it's a pretty sad time, right? Armlet toggling, not really going to work out up against a Necrophos, especially with 4 points into the Heartstopper aura, so something to keep in mind there. But yeah, you probably, you know, it's in the moment. It's tough to have like good map awareness in the moment, but you dying here is actually huge, right? Because now the Brood's probably going to be able to take this tower. She should be hitting it. She just saw you die top. There's 3 heroes dead. She knows TA's bottom, but you know, that's not you, so there's no point in critiquing that. But we'll go back here. So you do go down, you buy the blink, and the whole thing about the blink Battle Fury pretend to be AM, you should really never do that, right? Like, the heroes do very different things. First of all, your blink is never going to be on a low cooldown like an anti-mage's. Second of all, your blink gets cancelled if you take damage, and anti-mage gets played a lot differently now. He gets played very aggressively, cutting creep waves and stuff, which you can do because anti-mage's blink doesn't go on cooldown when it gets cancelled, right? So you doing the same thing wouldn't really be all that effective. Battle Fury is by far one of the worst items you can get on a Wraith King. As a Wraith King, especially if you're going a blink build, you're looking for like massive single target damage, like just lockdown damage. You want to jump on somebody and just blow them up, right? Like you want to blink in, stun them, and just absolutely eat them alive. AC, pretty good option this game because of the Slardar. Desolator would be a really solid option as well, just for helping you blow people up. BKB, not bad. It'll help you with the Zeus, maybe the Bloodseeker a little. Necrophos will still be able to lock you down, which is annoying. Honestly, yeah. So, you know, something just, especially if you're going to go for the blink, you have to recognize kind of what the build goes around. The AC is pretty good. Not the greatest. Honestly, like, if a lot of people think AC is like an unreal item for giving your team armor and everything, but it actually gives the same, I'm pretty sure it gives, one second, I'm pretty sure it gives the same as Vlad's. If we take a look here, I think Vlad's gives the same amount of armor. So Vlad's gives 5 bonus armor, AC also 5 bonus armor. So if you're just doing it for the ally bonus armor, it's not that great. Sure, it also reduces it by 5, so you know it's kind of good, but you know, if you're getting it just to help bolster your team's armor, maybe suggest that one of your supports buy a Vladimir's. I know it sounds stupid because you've already got lifesteal, like your aura lifesteal, but Vlad's gives you a lot. It gives you armor, gives you more lifesteal, and a lot of people don't really think about the damage, right? 15% bonus damage is actually pretty solid. Like, it's actually pretty solid. I don't know what just happened mid, but that was really unfortunate. So Vlad's is a solid option, right? Like, the reducing their armor by 5 and a 15%, or sorry, let me explain this a little bit better. So AC reducing their armor by 5 gives your team more damage, but it kind of works the same way with Vlad's, right? Like, increasing your damage by 15% does pretty much the same thing as just, you know, giving them -5 armor. So something to keep in mind there. I think AC is good. Probably not a third item here, but you know, that's not the worst that could have happened here. Looks like you're going for the kills. This guy's dead. Alright, your team is dead though. They shouldn't be able to catch up to you. You should turn your armlet off unless you're being attacked, just because it's going to slowly drain your HP there. But that's not a big deal either. You got some nice money, and you're going in. You really, so you got to remember again. Oops, what did I just jump ahead to? What just happened? Where did it jump ahead to? I have no idea what just happened. I totally just ruined that. Alright, we gotta go way back here. Alright, what the heck? Okay. No. Somewhere around here. I think this is like the exact moment, right? Alright, let's say it is. Alright, so you go home. Yeah. Alright, so this is the right way. Doing alright. Yada. Get a kill. Sweet. Alright. And you see yada. Alright, and for some reason you're prompted to go back in, which is super sketchy because, again, Slardar, I like can't stress this enough. People like underestimate Slardar's damage so much, but look at this. Negative 15 armor, physical damage, right? So this 225 is probably going to be more because you don't have 15 armor. So he's going to be doing more than, this is going to be around 300 damage. This is going to be around probably 200, like 180, 200 damage or something like that. And that guy probably could have done more damage there, but it doesn't matter. And look at that bash. Yeah, that bash was actually 300 damage. That was actually, okay, because he's got armlet on. That's why. I think that was the total. So the bash and then the other damage was like 300. But look at this. This guy is just taking the piss out of you right now. And a lot of people really don't expect a Slardar to do that much damage. So you really have to be aware of things like this. Slardar is like fantastic at these early skirmishes. Like 27 minutes, like this guy thrives on being level 11 and like just eating you alive. So something to keep in mind here. Still going alright, still going alright. Still going for the AC. Gonna find yourself a kill, that's pretty huge. A big thing is that you guys don't have vision. And I'll say this in a lot of my videos. I know it's shitty, I know it's annoying. But sometimes as the carry, you should just buy wards. Like, even if it's just one to put in a place that's a little bit safer. Like, I think they just showed on the map there, right? Like right now they're not on the map. You're farming right here. If this Slardar is up here and blinks on you, you're probably dead. Or if they come around from up here, you're dead. Like, there's no way you live. If it's just like Slardar +1, you're dead. Slardar Bloodseeker, you're for sure dead. Slardar Necrophos, you're for sure dead. Bloodseeker Necrophos, you're for sure gonna die. So if you had a ward that you put up here, it's a lot safer, right? Like, you can farm there safely, and I know it doesn't matter because you don't die, but realistically, like, you could have, oh my god, you could have very easily. So just something to be aware of as well. I'm not trying to come down on you. I know it sucks. It's not your job, obviously, but sometimes it's better. Nyx's Aghanim Scepter is actually like super legit, and it looks like you guys are gonna win this fight. So that was huge. You guys just won the fight. Nyx's Eggs is actually like a ridiculously good ability, but you know, more so in pubs than in competitive. I don't think it's really the hero himself really is that viable in competitive right now, but we'll see. Either way, Nyx's Eggs is like really good, just because right now in pubs, like people, I think that one of the biggest thing in pubs as well is that people have a tough time taking high ground. Like, they bunch up a lot, they just run up and hit the tower, stuff like that. This other team as well, like, is not using Roshan at all, despite having 3 heroes that are really good at it, right? A Bloodseeker, a Slardar, and a Broodmother here. So it's good. MKB definitely is going to be necessary this game, because the biggest thing about incapacitating Bite is that it's not just Brood, right? Like, it gives you that 60% miss chance that'll hit on anybody, not just Brood. So it's very important to get an MKB, which means you're not going to need the attack speed from the AC, which, I mean, isn't that great anyways, but it also means that AC probably wasn't the item. It was probably like BKB, MKB most likely is probably your best option this game. Maybe, yeah, probably BKB, MKB would have been pretty solid here. You don't really need more HP since you have the armlet. I'm trying to think maybe what else. Yeah, probably just Blink, BKB, MKB. The BKB is good because the Slardar won't be able to stun you. Yes, this bash still goes through it, and that's like the worst thing ever. But, you know, you won't be able to stunned up. You won't get silenced. You'll still get ruptured, which is like the worst thing ever, but whatever. So you're going in. Nice farming pattern. Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. That guy's going to die, so you run out of there. Good on you. You go for the relic first. If you're going to go for something like that, no point going to the relic. Mjolnir would have been another solid item. Maybe, like, if you're not going to go BKB this game, maybe, like, Mjolnir, MKB, and you would have been hitting, like, so fast, and it would have been, like, disgusting, and you would have been hitting super hard as well. Should definitely get out. Yeah, good job. Alright, it looks like at this point, yeah, you're probably just going to die twice. And yeah, Reaper Scythe is a good ability, and that's going to be pretty much the game at this point. So yeah, Mjolnir would really help you clear out the spiders, clear the waves, stuff like that. MKB you'll really need with the incapacitating bite, because like right now you've got a 60% chance miss, and that's like ridiculous. I also think in pubs, well, you know what? Maybe not this game, but eggs is actually, like, if you have somebody else dealing a ton of damage, like, TA's kind of good, but eggs Wraith King's, like, actually pretty legit. If you've got somebody like a Slark, somebody that does a lot of, like, single target damage, that's staying alive a little bit longer, makes it, like, really annoying for the enemy team, is actually pretty good. So, looks like the game's pretty much over here. Abyssal Blade's not bad, but, Abyssal Blade is like a 6th item, right? Like, unless you need a stun to go through BKB, Abyssal Blade doesn't really give you much, because if you're not going to burst a hero, like, really, really hard after you stun them, you're either going to die or just get kited out because you don't have a BKB, right? So, if you're going to stun somebody, you're going to blink in, stun somebody, you're going to burst them, and if they don't die within that time, then they probably just kite you or kill you. I guess the Abyssal Blade kind of doubles down, but for a lot less gold, you could have had a BKB and done essentially the same thing, like not allow yourself to get kited, stuff like that. Abyssal's not a bad item. I just think it's like a 6th item, probably after you get like Boots of Travel. Maybe not actually that hard of a 6th item, but it was probably, like, you probably needed something to help deal with the spiders and the mega creeps at this point as well. So the Mjolnir would have been solid. Sometimes you kind of have to have foresight, right? Like, you kind of have to know that, okay, we're probably going to lose a Rax. Like, we're 2 tier 3s down. Our Rax isn't down yet, but it probably will lose 1, and we'll probably need a Mjolnir. So, good game overall. A couple things that we can go over. First of all, your laning early on was alright. It wasn't that bad. You roamed around a little bit. Your skill build was a little bit iffy, especially in lane. It didn't really help you out that much. So, working on your skill build, working on your early game CS. The 2K stare, honestly, like, that's probably one of the biggest things that'll help you win games and get you out of whatever MMR you're currently in, is not standing across the river and just staring at each other waiting for the next creep wave, because that happens, like, all the time. Even in 4K games that I go over, like, the same thing happens, is that people end up staring at each other. If you're not going to go to another lane, just go to the jungle camps, right? So keeping in mind, try not to get caught in that. Itemization wasn't too bad. The AC wasn't the biggest thing there. It didn't really do much for you. They still had a lot of magic damage and stuff as well, so just, you know, it helps against the Slardar for you, but even then, the Slardar pretty much just negates it with his level 16 ultimate, right? So it's not really doing that much for you. AC probably could have been skipped for, like, Maelstrom, BKB, into Mjolnir, into maybe Abyssal after that. Or no, you needed MKB. Yeah, Mjolnir, MKB, or you'll probably still get kited, but like Mjolnir, MKB, or like BKB, MKB is probably your best bet here, just because the 60% miss is pretty huge. It's like ridiculously hard to deal with. If this Slardar was like super sick and got a Solar Crest, it would have been a really bad time for you, but that's no big deal because he didn't. Later on, just, you know, being careful, understanding how much damage heroes can do. If you think about it, right, like Slardar is ridiculously strong around the 30-minute mark. Like, once Slardar hits level 11, he's starting to hit, like, the peak. Like, he's getting up to the peak of his power. That negative 15 armor at level 11 or whatever is so dangerous around the 30-minute mark because nobody really has the items to deal with it just yet. Like, sometimes they do, but even then, it's still pretty tough to deal with. So keeping in mind, like, a hero like Slardar, heroes like Bloodseeker, like, they had a lot of just skirmishing heroes, right? Slardar, Bloodseeker, Necrophos, and Zeus are really good at skirmishing. Broodmother, not so much. He should have been in another lane pushing, although he was team fighting. That was a little bit weird, but he probably really didn't do that much for his team. But, you know, don't worry about trying to be another hero. If you want to be an anti-mage, pick an anti-mage. If you want to be a Wraith King, pick a Wraith King, right? Blink in, just blow somebody up. Disrupt the team fight by initiating, maybe killing somebody, almost killing somebody, then trading your first life and going in for a second one, right? Like, that's the whole point of a Wraith King, is that he can trade his life, his first initial life, for somebody, right? Even if it's just a support. If it's just a support and you go on to be like 4v5, then you're set. This guy went like Battle Fury Daedalus, or sorry, Battle Fury Desolator, so that's like pretty hurting. That didn't really help your team out much. He got a Glimmer Cape for some reason as well. He was like kind of not sure if he was supporting or not. But anyways, hopefully this did help you out a little bit. This is probably one of my better ones. After, you know, taking that week off, I kind of did a couple before this that were a little bit worse. So sorry to those guys. But thanks to everybody for watching, and look out for more replays. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series From Lane to Lane where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from Dodobuff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.